Now, I was at an antique fair today and I bought this book here. Now, you see it's called Fly Fishing for Trout. Now, in the book itself, I'll show you you'll see this is it's basically a limited edition. This is number 80. But within the book, you'll see, if I can show you here, the author has actually put one of his own flies in the small ribbon for the page marker, which is amazing to actually find something like this. But also, there's a photograph within the page. You can see here, you'll see this is a Quill Gordon. Now, there's different fly, there's the same fly but tied with different tires. And you can see the tires there. You can see in there, there's the people actually. Steenrod, his name is, Art Flick, Jai Leonard, and so on. So the different versions, the dressing is there as well. So I'm going to tie this fly and sort of basically tie it as I would tie it, which I hope you may enjoy. So now for the wing, I'm going to be using wood duck, and this is a flank feather, and I'm going to use this for the tail as well. It's a larger one which I'm going to use for the tail, and the smaller feathers, this one here is a bit smaller, I'm going to use for the wing itself. So it's quite simple to tie. Now the thread I'm using, I'm just going to use a uni thread. There's many threads out there you could use, and you could use a lot finer as well, but this is, I find it easy. Now I pre-waxed the thread. Now I'm going to start a mil or so from the eye and come down, say about 3 to 4 mil from that point, and then bring it back up. Just look at the area you're going to put the hackle in, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, as I say, I'm using one of the smaller feathers for the wing. So I'm just going to bring out the fibres on one side, enough to form a right and left side of the wing. So I'm just lining them up. When I'm happy with it, I can tear it away. Just tear it off. Toss some of the stem away, so what I'm going to do here is just trim that. Then I'm going to fold it in half, so that what's going to happen here is the fibres are going to naturally want to come away from one another, just like you would basically get in a dry fly wing. I tie this forward of the eye, so there's length of the shank, forward of the eye, pinch the lip on the top, with the natural curve of the fibres coming away from the hook. Go in with a couple of turns. Another one to secure. Have a wee quick look. You can see how the wing is sitting. Now it's not you can put a heavier wing on it if you want, but I'm keeping it quite slim. But what I'm going to do is then put tons of thread in front just to slightly lift these fibres. You can see how they've naturally split and come away, and that's ideal. And then I want a really thin body, so I'm going to trim away most of this. And from the back. As I say, the thread is waxed, so we can come down. This is the area where the hackle is going to be tied, so we can hide that. And then we can run down all the way along until just before it goes round the bend. We tie in the tail. So I've got fibres lying here for the tail. It's a larger feather. So I'm just going to take away stuff I don't want. Pick the best of the fibre. Just make sure they're lined up, and then hold the tips and tear them away. Obviously you want the natural curve of the fibre coming up and away from the hook. You're looking length of the hook for the tail. Go back a turn here, catch it in. Come underneath the fibres and lift, separate these fibres with that turn. You can see how they're sitting. There we are. Then we can trim away. We trim at the full length of the body. That point there. Now it says using a fine gold wire for the rib, so I'm going to catch that in at this point. Again, the full length of the body, so they end up with nice and smooth. And the strip Peacock Quill, natural. I'm just going to take one off and moisten it, because I did remove the fibres using bleach, so you've got to make sure that they're supple enough that you can wind them on. And we tie them in by the fine tip, so I got a taper in the body. And I'm going to work my way up. You want touch and turns with the thread. This point here. And then we're going to bring the quill up. And don't worry if you see some of the grey coming through, it does add to the colour of the fly. So work your way up this point, and then tie off. Trim away the waste. And then I'm going to use straight turns with the gold wire, just catching the edge of the quill as I wind up. This will highlight it. It's unusual, I don't normally like using a wire on a dry fly, but the dressing asks for it, so that's what I'm going to do. Secure it in, bend and break it off. You see it makes a nice body. And then for the body, the hackle itself, I'm going to use, this is just a small genetic cape I've got. It's lovely done. It's a neck, so this one's by mates. So I'm basically catching it in with the natural curve of the fibre to myself, and then carrying on down to this point, still tying in the quill, and then I can break that off, or tying in the stem, sorry. Use the hackle pliers, catch it on, and then depending, this is quite a big fly, so it's like a size 12. I'm just going to, depending on how good the hackle is, 3 to 4 turns about this side of the wing. Come in, make sure that turns right close to the wing, and keep going. Oops. Now that does happen with winding hackles, so we just have to be patient, catch that in. Just go back, start again, and then we work our way up. Sometimes it lays better the second time. You see this turn get right close to the wing, and then I'm just going to use up the hackle. It's not a big hackle. Come across. Now I'm going to basically zigzag through it. Obviously it came away there, but I'm well tied in at that point. Anything going forward, just catch it. A wee quick look how the wing's sitting. Now, what I'm going to do is put some varnish on the thread, and then I'm going to whip finish. There's a fine whip finisher here. Just watch the wing and the hackle fibres just come in. Tie it off. A wee bit of excess wax there, so just take it away. Tighten up. Trim the thread away. And there we are. Now that's a Quill Gordon tied as in the book. Lovely fly. I mean, it's beautiful. It's got a great reputation, this fly, all over. As you can see, just tying in the fibres and then folding them and encouraging the natural curve of the fibres to come away from the hook. I'll give you a wing, just like that. So, I hope you enjoyed that.